Okay, so we're going to start to continue to look at the world, and we will pull it into the body, we will pull it into our lives, but nature is just such a good example of balance, because nature doesn't have a brain to freaking fuck it up, and that's like what it does. Is the brain is the like problem. And I mean, not, but like, if you let that go, and if you just go with the flow, it's like life pretty much rolls on. So we are going to get a little bit more. So we've got this yin and yang energy, and we're going to start to look at it a little bit more specific.
Wait, should we start recording this?
Oh, thank you. Okay, good. Thank you. And we're going to start to get a little bit more specific. Okay. So we mentioned, now we get to play with colors. I just drew on there. Okay. So we talked about the Earth's energy, and it spins, and then it does what? Goes upward, right? So the Earth's energy rises, right? Kind of like a tree. Oops, that's supposed to be a slash. Okay. Sometimes, so you guys, I want to talk about this. I might use the words elements. Okay, I always say, let's talk about yin yang and 5 elements. Elements really isn't the correct word. Okay, the best word for us to really use is like transformations or phases. Okay, because element is so solid, like in our minds, that's such a solid like thing, like, copper is an element, it's a thing, right? But this is more a movement. Okay, so we look at our gorgeous trees, and they're rising, and they're reaching, and they're reaching, and they're reaching, and they're reaching for the expansive great ball in the sky, which is the sun, which is basically a big wad of fire, right? And that fire, expansive energy, goes up and up and up and up and out. And we get so expansive, and it's so expansive, but yet the sun itself, its energy is beating down on the earth, right? So it gets so expansive that it can't help itself but to start to, again, fall towards the earth. And then the earth is this contracted ball, and when we think about the earth, right, like the fire burns, the ashes create the earth, right? But they get more and more and more contracted, and that contraction starts to make the precious metals. So we have the metal movement. And that metal is so contracted, right? And it starts to support the very earth herself, which is 75% water. Okay? And water energy flows. Okay, so that kind of makes sense, right? Like when I'm out camping, this is like exactly what I notice, right? I'm by the stream feeds the trees fuel our fire, the fire creates ashes, we dig it and bury it up in the earth creates the heavy metals, and those metals nourish our water, right? We're always like adding minerals to our water and making sure our water is nice and full of great metals. Okay, so this is called this is a cycle, which is, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name right now. What are we doing? We are supporting. This is the creating cycle, right? Water creates the trees create the fire creates the earth creates the metal. Oh, sorry, that might be mine. So right now we're looking outside and we're noticing all these things popping up, all these trees, all these sprouts, all this greenery, right? And we're sitting right in the middle of spring. Okay, so in the spring, things start to pop out of the ground. Okay, and pretty soon, if we ever get there this year, it's going to get hot, and we're going to be in the middle of summer. Okay, and the Earth time of year. I love the Earth time of year. It is what we call in TCM the Indian summer. And I love the Indian summer because I used to live in San Diego. And all the tourists would go home and the beaches would get so hot and the water would get so warm and you could just finally start to like collect with your friends. You know, it's the type of year when school starts again and everyone's done traveling and people want to get back together. So it's Indian summer. People are connecting. And as we start to get a little bit further on in the year, the holidays come and we start to gather. Now we're really gathering together in the middle time of year. Then we make all these big fat New Year's resolutions and we dive deep into winter and we're starting kind of a whole new year. Okay, so that kind of makes sense, right? We've got our times of years. Yeah, it does kind of make sense with some of these things that are flowing out in the world that we're seeing. What about like our time of day, right? What time of day are we rising? Morning, right? AM, right? Boom, wake up. This morning it was 4 a.m. for me. Spring came, rising energy came early for me today. Sometimes it comes in the middle of the night, right? And what time of day are we the most expansive, right? The most expansive in the middle of the day, around noon. Like, hopefully we're up doing our stuff by noon, right? So noon is our fire energy time of day. But dang, if by 2 or 3 o'clock, it's starting to fall back down to the earth, right? Siesta. Why do we not do that in this country, right? Oh, because we have Starbucks, right? So we go reach for something sweet to try to pick us back up, rather than listening to our natural body's instincts that want to start slowing down in the mid-afternoon. You guys, I'm sorry. I hope you can read this, like, whatsoever. That's the time of day that our blood sugar starts to drop. So we might even reach for something sweet. And then comes the evening when we start to gather. Maybe the family all gets home. People are coming around together. Usually it's, you know, kind of that dinner time of day. And then my favorite time of day. Yeah, bedtime, right? Night. Right? Our internal ocean gets to finally be horizontal, right? Water is always looking to become horizontal. Okay? Our internal ocean at night gets to finally rest. It's also correlated with sleep. And what happens when we're sleeping?
Regeneration.
Yeah, we get to regenerate. Exactly. Yeah, healing. A lot of healing happens when we're sleeping, right? We have dreams. We can connect with our dreams. That's a big, important thing. Something that we don't do a lot. And I don't just necessarily mean the like, oh, I had the weirdest dream last night. I mean like our dreams, our goals, our big dreams. I was doing this, kind of dusting off the dust the other day with my youngest. And so I asked him, well, what's a dream? What's a dream that you have? And so he decided, well, going to Costa Rica. Going to Costa Rica. It's a dream he's got. So even those kinds of dreams, big dreams, we're going to use that one. Those dreams that were given to us by like the one, right? God, universe, our higher selves. They're the dreams that come from the deep, deep, deep within. Those are the dreams I'm also talking about. So you wake up and you've had this dream, and I mean like kind of figuratively and literally wake up, right? Oh my God, I have this dream. I want to go to Costa Rica. I want to surf in Costa Rica. Well, of course, that's such a great idea. How do you feel? Feel inspired, right? Like you finally have purpose, right? Like I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Costa Rica. So you get a little inspiration. Well, you kind of start running around and telling everybody, yeah? Right? This is really an active, you've got joy. There's so much joy in here. There's excitement. And maybe you start trying to figure out what you're going to do, right? Like you have to do some planning. That kind of sits over here. What energy is a lot of planning and organization. You better get kind of organized. You better start planning what you're going to do. I'm going to pop back over here for that. Hope it's okay just to be like writing all this stuff, but I think it helps. Okay, good. You start running around and you're telling everyone what you're doing. Maybe you start connecting with people about it. What? You've been to Costa Rica? Tell me about it. Tell me about what's it like to surf there. Are there really alligators in the water? Oof. Okay. So you start connecting with others. I'm going to put over here with others. It's a really big, important earth thing. So you've had this dream, you're making these plans, you're all excited, you finally found a big purpose, you can't help but just spread it. You're connecting with others. Maybe you're trying to rope all your friends into going because gosh, it's like way more fun to go with other people. And then you do it. You finally do it. Done. Complete it and let it go. Okay, that's the metal. Complete and let go. Complete so you can let go, right? So you can have another dream, right? So this could just be, this is something that happens in our day-to-day cycles. Oh my gosh, I'm going to do that yin yang 5 elements lecture I've always wanted to do. I'm going to get up, I'm going to get myself organized, I'm going to talk a lot with my hands, I'm going to invite my friends over, and we're going to talk about it so that I can shut up about, I want to do a yin yang 5 elements lecture for the next 10 years. And you guys don't all have to keep hearing about it, right? Okay. Does that make sense? So, I think that makes sense, yeah? What happens? Well, we'll just keep going with the Costa Rica trip. What happens when you wake up in the morning and you say, I've got a dream, and you are so excited. And you go to your mom, or maybe you go to your boss, or maybe you go to your loved one, and you say, I know what I want to do. I want to go to Costa Rica. And your mom looks at you and says, hell no, you're not going to Costa Rica. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. How do you feel? Deflated. I'm freaking pissed. Yeah, dumb, right? Yeah, you feel like that's like a sucker punch, right? to get angry. Who is she to tell me I'm not going to Costa Rica? What? This is my dream, right? So all that excitement, all that joy, real down. Depression. Depression in the sense of like that manic depressed, right? Like just like everything's really, really good, but then everything goes down. It's like, I mean, think of it. It's fire energy, right? The fire's up, the fire's excited, and then the fire's deflated. It's just out with a sizzle. So that's more manic type depression. There's lots of different types of depression. But this one, when it's out of balance, is manic. Manic ups and manic downs. So like bipolar disease is like a fire imbalance, that kind of up and downs. Well, why are you so upset? Well, because of her. She's not letting me go to Costa Rica, right? Blaming others. It moves into blaming others. Blaming others is an earth imbalance will always blame other people. Well, Joel, you're 15 years old. You can go to Costa Rica. No, her fault, right? So, because this is all about connection with others. Earth is all about the other people. So, what did I say? Blaming others. And I'm just going to circle these as these are the out of balance, because we're not the earth and we get out of balance. Well, when in balance, it's easy to let go. But this one I might hear about for the next 25 years. My life is ruined because you never let me go to Costa Rica. Might not be able to let it go. So holding on. Also, self-blame is another metal energy. So the metal element, we'll talk about this probably maybe today, but anyways, I'm just going to bring it up now. Like the brain is kind of like the metal element. So while this is like blaming others, this one is a lot also blaming self. Like really, really, really reclusing. And then how do you feel the next time you have an idea and you want to go tell your mom or your partner or your loved one? You feel a little scared now, right? Right? There's a lot of fear when this one's out of balance, right? Nightmares, not dreams. They create fear. So our dreams either create inspiration, or maybe when out of balance or we're trying to figure something out, they create fear. So, you know, we can look out, and I can look out at the camping, you know, whatever scenario, and I can go, yeah, you know, things like are so in balance. And I can look at this like, yeah, my day's so in balance. I sleep well and I wake up and I go do my stuff and I connect with people and I, you know, I finish my day and I whatever, move on. But we know life is not like that. And life is not easy to just completely be in balance all the time, or none of us would be here trying to figure this out, right? So, so there's the controlling cycle, but there's so we need to find ways to help find balance. And maybe at this point is a good time to start segueing into the body. Like, okay, well, this is great, and I get what this might mean for my dreams and for the ocean and for the trees and the forest, but like, I want to feel good. What do I do for myself? What does this have to do as, you know, as a body worker, as a chiropractor, as a mental health care professional? How can I use this, right? So let's talk organs. Water element. organs. What might be the water element organs? Let's think about the night. Kidney and bladder. Two things wake me up. Thirst, pee, right? Kidney, bladder. So the kidneys and the bladder are the organs, the water element organs. The first thing that happens in the morning, our livers contract, they shoots blood up to the heart. So the liver is a rising organ, rising element organ. So the liver, I'm going to abbreviate these, and the gallbladder, okay? The liver has what, like 564 functions it does, like something, 500 that we don't know. I love that. It has to be dang organized. The liver does so much, and you can't have a plate like that if you are not organized. So a healthy liver is easy to be organized. An unhealthy liver is quick to get angry. Okay? Fire organs. Let's think about that. What looks like this? Maybe the heart, right? The heart pumps blood up and out. In the same way, actually, the small intestine. I'm just going to talk about those two. There's two other that go with it, but we're just going to talk about heart and small intestine. The small intestine does the same thing. Small intestine gathers all the information, and it has to like digest everything, right? You go here, you go to the blood, you go to the chute, I need some bile. It's like it's constantly doing kind of 10,000 things as well. So heart and small intestine are fire type organs. And what about earth? Connecting with others. It's our favorite way to connect with people.
This way.
Food, eating. Oh yeah, this way too. This way too, yes. But food, we love to connect over food. So the stomach and the spleen, I'm going to say the spleen, pancreas. Okay, in Chinese medicine, the spleen and pancreas were kind of considered one organ together. Right? It takes everything and kind of the stomach takes everything and just molds it together, right? Mushes it all together, kind of creates an earth-like substance. And the completing and letting go. What organs help us to do that? Our lungs, right? And our large intestine. Lungs, our large intestine, our skin too, right? Through sweat. So skin, is it metal? Okay. So we might look at this and go, yeah, I can see myself in some of these. It's kind of interesting, right? I mean, let's talk about people, right? We're working with people, we're living with people, we're helping people, we're helping raise people, we're helping each other. It's harder to see these things sometimes in ourselves than it is our friends, oh, that's just whatever imbalance. And I like this. For me, I like this. This helps me really detach people and their personalities. So, I might have friends that are just, all they can do is complain and blame others. It's like, this is like the Eeyore kind of person, and while sometimes it might not be like my most exciting person to hang around, at least I can go, it's just an earth imbalance. This person might just need to like some more vegetables, right?
Be outside.
Yeah, be outside more, right? Yeah. I'm
just thinking of COVID and how this whole thing got disrupted.
Yeah, right? I mean, no more of this. So how does everybody feel? Freaking isolated, right? Yeah. Made a lot of people angry. I mean, there were all the riots and stuff happened. People were pissed. Well, we just totally disrupted the whole cycle. Absolutely. What are some things that we can do to help bring balance to this. So let's think about food. You know, if we might notice, say, even in ourselves or in a loved one or a client or whatever, there's a lot of fear. What kind of foods can we do to promote the water element? When we think about the ocean, so salty, yeah, anything kind of salty, right? Salt, maybe seaweeds, maybe fish. What kind of food mimics this? Rising energy. Maybe sprouts. Well, we're going real basic here, guys. Sprouts, celery, right? I was doing the liver cleanse. Oh my God, I'd have celery juice, all celery all day long. Celery, celery, celery. Clean the liver, clean the liver. What kind of foods make us think about up and out, up and fire, right? Maybe fruits, right? We reach up to grab them. Maybe the greens, like the collard greens, they kind of grow up and out, right? They're so good for our heart. You always hear that. Like leafy greens, I'll say. What kind of foods are good for this blood sugar in the body? We're trying to, whenever people are trying to get off of sweets, we kind of recommend things like, maybe like squashes. I'm like, what are pumpkins called? Yeah, like squashes, right? Squash, things that are round, grow on the earth. And metal energy. Things like seeds. Grains are also things that are real kind of like, they're small and contracted, hold kind of like a lot of potential in them, right? There's a lot of potential in those. So is anybody noticing, like, oh yeah, like let's talk about people. let's like kind of get into that for a second, right? Because this is something that you might see, like when somebody, say we're thinking of like people, so everybody has imbalances, okay? We're born with imbalances. We also promote imbalances in ourselves. We're gonna have, everyone's gonna have an area that they are inherently deficient. Okay, we grow, this is a yearly cycle, right? It's a daily cycle, it's a whatever cycle, but it's also a yearly cycle. Well, we grow in the womb for 9 months. And then we got 3 months that we're a little bit more vulnerable, right? The first 3 months that we're born, we're a little bit more vulnerable. So there can be a tendency for the 3 months after you're born to be a little bit more vulnerable with that in that element, okay? So think about it. Think about maybe what time you were born and see if that correlates for you. So for instance, I'm born in the middle of winter. So I might have a tendency towards kidney deficiency. Oh my God, my whole life, I had dark circles under my eyes my whole life long. And my dad's a doctor. So I was always like, Dad, why do I have dark circles under my eyes? And he's like, I don't know. That's usually just people who smoke. And I was like, well, I'm 12. So I'm not smoking. Like, that's not really an answer. I mean, that's kind of what kicked me into this field, because like, why isn't there an answer for that? Well, it took me until hearing this for the first time, like, oh, well, maybe that's why I have a tendency towards kidney deficiency. Oh, what? The colors of the dark ocean are black? What do I wear? All the time. Black. Maybe I'm trying to reach for balance. Okay? There's different body parts that are associated. So it's not just the organs, right? So we've got the organs, and the organs mimic this, right? My bladder sits down here. My liver sits right here. My heart is up here. My stomach is right here. My large intestines release there. So it's everything. It all sits within this. So that's another aha moment. Maybe it took me X amount of years to do this dang lecture because I was scared. I don't know. Maybe no one will show up. Maybe I'll just talk to myself. Maybe I'll forget everything, right? But also, these are the areas. I mean, it was mostly this, January, February, March, and a little bit into this, where for me, I was living life a little bit more vulnerable as a baby. So you might think about that in yourself and go, oh, maybe that's why I have a tendency towards knee issues. Knee issues are a kidney thing. Tendons and ligaments and stuff for me. That's a wood element piece. And we're not going to get so much into the body, like that piece of the body stuff yet. A little bit more like when we do like a body reading class. That's another plug for body reading. But something that I want you guys to start thinking about. So we talked about this being the creation cycle, but there's also a controlling cycle. So water can put out fire. Too much fear and you ain't got no passion anymore. That's for sure, right? Too much fire, you ain't getting jack done, right? You're not completing anything. You're too busy out socializing, right? Metal can cut wood, and wood can uproot the earth, right? Too much metal's really regimented. People who hang out in the metal element or have maybe a deficiency in the metal element, it could be an excess or a deficiency. I don't necessarily want to say one. So with yin and yang, right? They're always seeking balance. So anytime somebody comes in with too much of one thing, there's an equal and opposite depletion of another phase or element or transformation. And so that's kind of tying back to what I talked about for a split second with the bigger the front, the bigger the back. So we might be going, oh my gosh, I'm so fire. I've got to worry about the fire. No, where's your deficiency? Find the deficiency, heal the person. Okay, like working with a chiropractor here, who's like way not just a chiropractor. Right? My back might be jacked, but he's like, dude, you need to engage your core, right? And I might come in, I'm like, but my back's jacked. And he's like, yeah, have you been doing your dead bug muscle or whatever things I'm doing? You've been doing your core exercise, right? So the bigger the front, the bigger the back. The more in pain I am here, the more deficient I probably am here. As a body worker, this was invaluable information for me, because if somebody comes in and I'm going to stick with my fire person, and they're all over the place, and I'm like, holy cow, dude, just lay down. I might want to start at their feet. I might want to do anything I can to ground them and pull the energy down, spark some of this water element. Kidney 1 starts at the bottom of the foot. Always trying to help people find balance. So wood can uproot the earth, and then the earth can dam water, right? Earth can control where water flows. Oops, that's not that. And it's not just one way. I hope this is still interesting, you guys. Okay? Because water makes earth can dam water, right? But water also makes earth muddy, right? Earth can also stop sprouts from popping up. Fire can evaporate water. It's not just water putting out fire. Fire can evaporate water. Too much disorganization and passion, you don't even remember what your dreams are. You're too busy running all over the place. Metal might be able to cut wood, but wood dulls metal. So, and metal can put out fire. So everybody is in constant conversation with each other. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. Any thoughts? What else? So how do we use this? You know, how do we use this in our lives? How do we use this with our clients? I mean, for one, I think just understanding that some of the things that people have are deeper than just personality, whatnot, you know, deeper than just personality. Oh gosh, you know, she's just a complainer, you know, or oh gosh, she's always just so withdrawn and, you know, whatever. Oh, you know, there might be other things going on. The lungs and the large intestine, they really hold on to grief. So I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. She was talking about she wanted to have a smoking party where she smoked cigarettes. She wanted to invite people over to smoke cigarettes. I was like, God, like that is like nobody does that. Like I don't think I've ever seen like anybody, maybe outside, you know, John and Zeke's, but smoking a cigarette, right? So we started talking about it, and I mentioned, I said, well, you know, yeah, you know, smoking fills the lungs. Most people reach for that like in a time of grief, because we're all we really want is to like stop and take some deep breaths, but it's a way to take a deep breath. And she said, oh, yes, I started smoking when my mom died, you know. And it was an interesting aha moment for her about where some of our patterns might start, and understanding, you know, we might have people coming in saying like, gosh, you know, whatever. We can see patterns oftentimes, you know, and someone might come in and say, hey, you know, oh, yeah, I'll tell you guys, this time of year, it's spring. Everyone comes in with neck stuff in spring. Neck, head, shoulder, neck, head, liver energy rising, stuck, can't get out, stuck, can't get out, liver energy rising. It's summertime energy. You'll notice these kinds of patterns. In the summers, it's headaches. In the winters, it's lower back, kidney stuff. So how can we help people through this? What are some things that we can do? Spring cleaning really helps with this. Too much going on right here, and too much, you know, kind of chaos when we're not ready leads to an agitated liver. So cleaning out and becoming more organized and cleaning actually helps us prepare for the summer time energy. I mean, people get heart stuff starts to come in midlife. Well, oftentimes by midlife, we are so detached from our dreams because we've been so busy. We're raising kids, we're in jobs that are unfulfilling, or whatever it happens to be. But we've gotten to this point in midlife that we've lost joy. And so heart problems start to come in. You know, people with heart stuff tend to have maybe flushness in the face, redness coming, you know, sometimes, well, big crazy hair, kind of like myself. But, you know, oftentimes. Yeah, take a picture, please. Totally take a picture. Absolutely. A lot of times people, you know, craving the sweets. It's just a craving for connection. I don't know what else to say, guys.
Interesting, because, you know, my sweets craving shut off.
Yeah. Interesting, huh? Yeah.
You know what? Like that deep connection.
That deep connection. Yeah. And how much um, we can really help each other, right? So like that friend that you might find that is just constantly blaming other people and reaching for sweets, maybe she's just looking for connection. Maybe that's when you say, hey, like, want to go for a walk? Want to sit down? Want to have dinner together? Helping people to find their own balance. And then there's the colors, right? Because a lot of this is we can help with color. I mean, there's a whole color therapy, like that's like a whole thing, right? So the colors that we might use for the kidneys, water flowing element, would be the blues and blacks, dark blues, right? Like that color of the deep ocean. You know, the deep ocean where you're like kind of like looking back up, that really pretty dark blue. So using blues and blacks can help us to connect with our dreams. Springtime colors. What are springtime colors? Greens, yellows maybe, pinks. Right? When you want a little bit more energy, you might want to reach for something like that. If you're thinking about feng shui in your home, if you're in a room that you want a little bit more activity in, you might think using greens, using some fire colors, right? Reds, maybe bright pinks, bright pink, bright orange. I did this is a little bit of a sidebar, but I'm doing this like medical intuitive work, and I did a journey into my blood last night. My blood was bright orange. It wasn't deep red. And it was such an interesting, like, oh yeah, like I need some more blood food. I need some like chlorophyll. I need some deep blood richening agents in order to get my blood from this like orange, even though that is a great fire color. I'm just saying, whatever, it just popped in my head. I need something to help make it a deeper red. Blood is kind of fiery. Blood holds the spirit. So we're not really going to talk about it so much in here. But anyways, more maybe in body reading for sure. Earth colors. Earth colors, right? Browns. So you want your house to feel more soft and inviting. You use browns, you use things that are soft, right? The more that more yin type energy that helps bring people together, come and get comfortable, right? There's a total difference between walking in to kind of, and I'm just going to say whatever, like an earth mama's house versus walking into like the CEO's house, right? That's going to probably look like a bunch of metal, a bunch of straight lines, no softness, because there's that mindset of that metal type person who's like, everything's black and white, everything's clean cut, sharp, edgy, kind of that get it done, sort of that. I think of Mr. Popper, Mr. Popper's Penguins. I don't know if you saw that movie. Oh God, my kids watched it all the time. His house was like stark New York, big stairs, no, just like whatever. And then his kids came in and made it a whole lot more fun, right? Ended up with a bunch of penguins, but anyways. But that kind of a house might lead you to see, oh, this person might be, having some issues with the metal element. Yeah, it might be kind of nice to like put some trees in this house. to help balance out this person, right? Maybe some red, bringing in some red, bringing in some softness. So as for me, as I move forward and talking about like me, you know, I think one of the other classes I'll probably be doing is a body reading class. And that gets a little bit more into like, okay, where is this showing up in the body? Where is liver showing up in the body? So, you know, as say a body worker or something, you know, one of the things to always look at is what muscle is tightening. When the muscles are tightening up, right, what organ are they protecting? And that's a good place to start, even like within ourselves. And so, you know, if that's something that, you know, people are interested in, I would suggest taking that, you know, looking in that direction, because that's where you can really start to understand, oh, there's a pattern here. Yeah, so the neck is a lot of things, right? So there's fire coming up and out. There's the wood coming up and out, right? And large intestine meridian runs through here. Small intestine meridian runs through here. So it can be a lot of different things. And so that's why it's like kind of a never-ending unraveling of seeking balance. Yeah. Without fear. Well, and if it's okay to talk about, because we're amongst friends, but like the heart stuff, right? And so it was like, oh, heart, the heart feels like this, and that's pulling on the neck, you know, and that might be a thing, right? Large intestine meridian, right? Little bit of that's not really like in here, but that little bit of like the large metal element like wants to be alone, might not want to be alone, might feel alone, right? So actually, I'm going to put that in here. Yeah, that's a good one. So I mean, we're all of this, but we do have tendencies. So there is kind of a fun thing, and I'll have you guys do it. We can like kind of wrap up now. But one of the things that's kind of fun is that you draw a circle. You just take a pen and you draw a circle, and where your circle's out of balance can help guide and let you know where you might be a little out of balance. Right? So that's kind of like a fun little like quick fix, you know, kind of thing of yeah, we can do it right now. I'll pull out paper.
My aha moment, because I've learned a lot.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I love how you present it. It's just it's so easy, so much easier to remember than just
Yes.
memorizing.
Yes. Oh, 100%.
Bring it all together.
Yes.
But how it's in the body.
Oh yeah. This is the whole thing. Oh, that's the whole.
But like the way it's placed.
The way it's placed.
I've never put that together.
Oh, that's the whole. We'll learn about that when we do healing the heart. It's all right here, you know, and the emotions, you know, and the emotions are all sitting here. Of course. Of course.
I know this whole system.
Yeah.
But like
the placement. Yeah.
I don't know why I never thought about it before.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, it's crazy.
That's why the female organs.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that thing of it's just like so much more contracted, you know, and like, but like even like females in general, right? Like that tends to be a smaller space, all these organs shoved up in there, like there's going to be more contraction, right? So, I mean, it's all, I don't know. I find it really interesting. I hope that was interesting for you guys. You know, it really like plays out in a lot of different things. And, you know, I think it gives you at least a little bit of food for thought as you know, move forward. And I don't know. Thanks.
Excellent.
It's a little messy. Aw.
Because you're a never-ending learner.
Well, yeah, because I don't stop. Oh my God, I know. I was telling someone the other night, I'm like, oh, I'm taking 2 classes this week. It's only 2. Like I'm always taking classes, yeah. But it always still comes back to this. I mean, for me, I've been taking classes